All right, everybody. I hope you had a fantastic weekend. I am back with a brand new DC update. And yes, as the title suggests, there are more rumblings of the return of the Snyderverse. We're going to take a look at this report that came out, was spread all over social media over the weekend, and we're going to talk about the validity of it and whether it's possible or not. Plus, we're also going to be digging deeper into who James Gunn is when it comes to his professional career and how he treats projects that are not his own. And I touched a little bit about that in my last video. But there was an interview that Stephen Amell from the Arrow show on the CW, he had an interview on a podcast, and he had some choice words about James Gunn. And we're going to take a look at quite a few things today. So this is going to be a fun one. So let's dig in. All right, so first up, James Gunn on the DCU slate. He says the only shuffling done was moving Waller after Peacemaker for a variety of reasons. And yes, unlike most studios, we'll never start production on a process if the script isn't finished. Quality is the utmost priority. And we'll see if that's actually true moving forward. With that said, I would assume that Creature Commandos must be absolutely amazing. And I'm assuming that Superman must also be absolutely amazing. And keep in mind that both of those projects were written by James Gunn. And he directed some of the episodes of Creature Commandos, but he is directing Superman. So this is all on his shoulders, and he is promising a lot. So there are talks of the Batman Caped Crusader Season 3. It was picked up for 2 episodes through Amazon, and Matt Reeves hints when Batman Caped Crusader Season 3 will be announced. He says, I think we should know in the next few weeks. I'm super proud of what Bruce Timm and the writers did, and everybody. I'm really proud of that show. I'm glad he's proud of bringing all the woke into media. Good on him. More information, and this is another update that is going to be heavy, all about the Batman, and I am betting James Gunn is having a hard time with all of the press that the Batman is getting, but it's what's all over the news right now, and this comes via Total Film. Dylan Clark says James Gunn is all in for Matt Reeves' Batman epic crime saga. Now, this quote is very important. He says, the only conversation Matt and I had with James Gunn and Peter were that they loved the Batman. They loved that we'd already be in production with the Penguin, and they were all in on what we were doing. Okay? Now, I want to point out that is based off of the one and only conversation Matt and Dylan Clark had with James Gunn. The only conversation they have had about the Batman. Now, this was before, obviously, that the DCU was announced. This is before James Gunn had any plans for the DCU. And it's only one conversation. But I want to remind people that back when they announced the studio had Henry Cavill announced that he was back as Batman. And yes, they did have him announce it. It's through his own words. That's what Henry Cavill said at the time. He actually said this in his departure, that the studio had him announce his return all over social media. So at the time, they had plans on bringing him back, only to have the studio backstab him a few months later and yank him away entirely with the DCU news. So there is nothing saying that the Batman is going to be safe with James Gunn in charge. I want to remind people that they stabbed Henry Cavill in the back. They could absolutely do the same thing to Matt Reeves. There is no question that absolutely could happen. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but we've seen it time and time again with who James Gunn is, who Warner Brothers is. They did it when James Gunn came on board, and also Zaslav was there. So for people to think that anything is safe at this stage, they've got another thing coming, especially with Zaslav in charge. He likes to cancel stuff. Matthias Schoenaerts is reportedly in talks to play the villain Krem of the Yellow Hills in Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow. So this is coming via My Time to Shine Hello. This is just a rumor at this stage. Take it for what you will. All right, it says more Batman news. There's lots of the Batman news coming out, and I'm hoping all of this is true. But again, I don't trust Gunn. I don't trust Warner Brothers, and they've got a lot to prove before I will ever trust them ever again. It says another The Batman spinoff series is officially in the works, confirms producer. We're going to talk about what that spinoff, I believe I grabbed a picture of what they announced would be the next spinoff. More on the Batman and the Penguin. Matt Reeves says he didn't direct any episodes of the Penguin in order to focus on developing the Batman 2. He says he hopes to direct episodes of a future spin-off series for the Batman. And we're going to talk about that one, and he'd be more apt probably to do that one as well. Now, I don't know if this is true. I have not been able to confirm this, but this was also going around social media. I showed this in my last video on how IGN gave the Penguin a 5, but supposedly they've changed it to a 10. And people are saying that, Warner Brothers paid them off. But it says down here that the Penguin show is straight buzzing, no cap. Plot twists had me like Guyette, and Oz's character has got major riz for real. Every episode's a vibe on God. If you're not watching, you're missing on low-key, and L's for you. All right, guys, this was passed all around social media that IGN had changed their score for the Penguin, which I don't believe that this is true. And if you read the description down at the bottom, you will know why. I am not going to read what it says there. It is so freaking goofy that you cannot take this seriously. This is not true. All right, so this coming from Total Film, coming actually from John Cena himself about Peacemaker Season 2. John Cena says changes to the DCU are why Peacemaker Season 2 is taking so long to release. What changes to the DCU? There have been no changes to the DCU. The DCU has been the DCU from the day it was created and they announced their slate. So what changes are happening to the DCU that would cause Peacemaker to be, or is he talking about the DCEU? I mean, there's no clarity here whatsoever. Now, this is pretty crazy. This is just a rumor at this stage, but it says, breaking news, Marvel Studios is considering moving the Fantastic Four first steps up to July 11th, the same day as Superman Legacy. This would be a mistake. This is going to hurt Superman Legacy. No question about it. In fact, I think Superman Legacy should bump up to May. Do Memorial Day weekend. Get something out there where they have the best chance of success. Prior to contrary belief, I don't want Superman to fail. I don't want Superman to be a bomb. I think it's going to be a bomb, but I'm not hoping that it's going to be a bomb. And if they want the best chance of success, you need to do it at a time period where a lot of people are going to go to the movies. And with as long as they've had to produce this film and film it, now that it's done and they're doing post, you could easily have this out by May. So this is freaking hilarious. Here is James Gunn talking about whether Creature Commandos or Superman is the starting project of the DCU. And this is getting ridiculous at this point. James Gunn said, I'm not sure what you mean by main start point. They went on to say, the person asking said, as in an introduction to the universe. James Gunn goes, I think both of them as individual stories that are a part of an overall universe. They both exist for their own sake. I don't see either one as an introduction, but Creature Commandos does come first. Yeah, that clarifies a whole lot there. He's dancing around this. This is freaking hilarious. So this you got to take as rumor strictly, but this is what it says, and this is coming from @HW Scoops. Matt Reeves wants Hush to be the main villain of Part 2 and wants him to be the Riddler's role of Part 2. So basically the main villain. Expect the Court of Owls to be introduced as well in Part 2, which was hinted at in the first film. In fact, both the Court of Owls and Hush were both basically hinted at in the first film. Clayface will make his debut in Part 2 that'll lead to his own spin-off project. I don't believe that that's true. Harvey Dent will also be introduced in the film and will become Two-Face, but that'll be a setup for him to play a much larger role in the Batman Part 3. A lot of this seems suspect, but I doubt this is all true, but we'll see. All right, guys, so here was the big thing that got passed all around social media, and this is coming via two different sources. It's Cinehouse, which a lot of people have an issue with, and Ad Updates for DC. And it says, rumor, Warner Brothers and Comcast have reportedly reached an agreement that could lead to the new DCU productions outside of the DCU, potentially involving Zack Snyder and David Ayer, and the return of the Snyderverse. We're going to talk about this because I think I have more photos on this. So someone said the next Batman spinoff show should be Catwoman. This comes from Blu-ray Angel. And this is what I'm assuming the next spinoff would probably be. But who knows? This is the one that was rumored, obviously because this is what this person wanted. But there's no truth to that. We don't know what the next spinoff is going to be. But this is one idea that is floating around. All right, so more about the Batman 2. This is getting crazy, all the news is coming out. I said James Gunn must be jealous of this. Matt Reeves says they're working on the Batman 2 script every day. They've given big portions of it to DC already. Starts filming sometime in the first half of next year. Will be another murder mystery. We're getting very close. And this comes from the Collider. Now, this has also been passing around. It's pretty funny. Big Belly Burger, we know that from The Flash. And this is just some swag that was being given out to Superman, the crew. And the thing that caught everyone's attention is the mug. And the picture of Superman, Clark, Lois, you've got Lex Luthor, you got Mr. Terrific, and you can't see the rest. What's really goofy about this, first of all, somebody mentioned how Superman is taller than Clark Kent. Clark Kent looks frumpy. He looks short and somewhat overweight there. I'm based off of this, like if this is, I told you guys, I really have a feeling that they're going to go really stupid with Clark Kent and make him just be a dumb, they've used the word galoot already. Those were their words. And I think they are going to make him one stupid person. I'm just really worried about how they're going to treat Clark Kent. You cannot have him, if he's any more aloof than Christopher Reeve was in the original Superman films, they're going to have a problem. Now, this is some pretty crazy stuff. This made me laugh. This is James Gunn backtracking on things that have happened in the past. So this has to do with Harcourt and Economos being in Shazam 2 at the end, in the credits. Someone says, does that imply Shazam 2 is canon to the DCU? I'm so confused. James Gunn said, you don't need to be confused. It's not canon. I don't know now or then what Harcourt or Economos have to do with the Justice Society. He's basically saying he didn't give notes to Shazam 2. He didn't ask for this to be in there. Yet in the past, he said Shazam 2 would be part of the DCU and that Shazam would be part of the DCU. But then you had Zachary Levi come out and make comments. He's trying to play the field to try and get his foot in the door, and it didn't come off too well. And now James Gunn is saying he had nothing to do with that, although we've all heard the reports and other people talking about how he gave notes to every single one of those films. And this is what this person who posted this says. Puts his wife in a movie. He gave notes for movie. The movie tanks, pretends it didn't happen. And that's exactly what's happening here. This is ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. Also, The Legend of Batman. This is something you guys may have seen that has been posting around all over social media. I'm getting these, and I don't know if it's because I look at all the DC stuff and specifically Batman, but there's a new hardcover collection that's coming out that's going to have 35 books in the end, and it says starts for only $4.95. That's for the first hardback. But if you guys go look at this deal, for the first month you get like this first book, and then you're getting like one book for free. The next month you're getting one book and then two for free, and then after that it's about $80 a month. They're going to send you 3 books, and it's going to cost you about $80 a month to do this program, which is excessive. So just be aware that this is passing around and know what you're getting yourself into. All right, guys, so it looks like I didn't grab that other still in regards to the Snyderverse possibly returning. So let's talk about this with Comcast. First of all, I couldn't find anything to back this up. This is somebody who posted this and just got this out there, and I don't think there's any truth to it, guys. I am not putting any weight into this. I'm not hopeful in the least. As long as James Gunn is in charge of DC Studios, I don't see him allowing anything else at all to happen out there. Now, in regards to the James Gunn and some of the comments that he has made in the past, I want to talk about the Stephen Amell thing. I thought I grabbed a photo, but it's not showing up in my thing. But let's talk about this whole Stephen Amell thing and what I saw on social media. So Stephen Amell was in this interview, and he started talking about how James Gunn had thrown shade at, giving Superman a poop fetish and also basically making fun of the Arrowverse. And he talked about how hard they worked on that show and how they got a lot of flack back then, but that, James Gunn shouldn't have been making fun of those things in Peacemaker. And people were talking about this on social media, and I want to talk about how I view this. First of all, on social media, where people were just saying, well, it's to show how just dumb and ignorant that Peacemaker is. Well, I would disagree with that, because James Gunn has this habit of putting down other people's projects. He just does. He has a whole history of this from Twitter, and everybody has seen these photos. He did it about, Michael Keaton as Batman, the Batman films from Tim Burton. He's done it about a lot of stuff. And all of that I've had videos about that stuff. And so for him to make these disparaging comments about these characters in Peacemaker, it's who he is. It's who James Gunn is. If it's not his, he throws shade at it. It's a problem that he has. There is so much proof of this out there, you cannot deny it. But there are going to be people who are going to back him up no matter what. He has a lot to prove. I'm not just going to accept what he's doing. I have to go in and see that it's going to be good for myself. So I'm eagerly awaiting Superman to be released so I can actually go see it and find out whether we're on the right track or not. I don't think we're going to be on the right track. I don't see how with him in charge, it's possibly going to get on track. All right, guys, so there's my update for the day. I do appreciate the support. Again, I'm on the road to 20,000 subs. If you're a longtime watcher and you haven't subscribed yet, what are you waiting for? Hit the like button, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. And if you're new here and you like the video, please also hit the like button, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. It goes a long way to helping my channel. All right, guys, we will see you on the next video.